All right, here I am in Salt Lake City. I just arrived. I'm going to be here a few days. I'm going to go see the sights and check out what is life like in Salt Lake City. I got an Uber ride from the airport, and looking out the windows, I saw snow-capped mountains to the left, right, and center. These are the Wasatch Mountains. The 2002 Winter Olympics were held here, and the stadium built for the Olympics is now used by the University of Utah for football games. Here we are at the University of Utah. The U of U is the main college in the state. The school tries to stay on the cutting edge of new technology. A virtual reality lab is located in the library along with books, and more books.
There's a lot of books that are open.
Here at the University of Utah, they have a one-button studio. Can you believe that?
I can show you how you do it. They have it all set up. You can see me on the video over here. The camera's up here. They make it cute for me to, if I look at that little smiley face, then I'm in the right position.
And I'm asking people, what's it like in Salt Lake City? And I found some volunteers here for a cause, and we're going to get a real quick rundown on what's happening.
One of the best parts about living in Salt Lake is the outdoor access. It's unmatched. You can be there in 30 minutes, no problem, most of the time, but they're threatening the access and the beauty of the Salt Lake Wasatch Front by building a gondola to help with transportation, which is super detrimental. And so we're pro buses and pro public transportation instead of private transportation via a super expensive, intrusive project.
Yeah, so I actually lived in New Jersey for a year, and while I was living there, I really realized how special Utah is. And like Claudia was saying, the outdoor access here is completely unmatched, and I just want to do everything that we can to preserve that so future generations can have the same access.
Salt Lake City is the county seat and the state capital. The museum and the public library are right next to each other. I wanted to go into the public library and meet the world's strongest librarian, but it was closed that day. Ken is often seen on the Antiques Roadshow appraising books. The city has some new buildings under construction. I'm not sure what this one is. Salt Lake City is also the home of one of the 12 Federal Reserve banks. I was impressed with this amazing gateway with the big bird up there, which I assumed was an eagle. However, it's a seagull. Why? Because local lore says that seagulls saved the early pioneers by eating the insects that were destroying their crops. Utah was granted statehood in 1896. This is the state capital, which so closely resembles the Capitol in Washington, D.C., that when a Hollywood movie was made called Pretty in Pink, they needed to film her going to Washington, D.C., and they filmed it here instead. A light rail system moves people around the city. It's called TRAX, and it was begun in 1999, just in time for the Winter Olympics. Salt Lake City was founded by Brigham Young, and the Mormon history is a very deep part of this town, and the Mormons, or as they're officially known, the Church of the Latter-day Saints, is a very big part of this city. The temple was built downtown, and it started in 1853, and it took 40 years to complete. I wanted to go look at it, but right now it's all covered in scaffolds because March 18th, 2020, a 5.7 earthquake shook the area and the temple was slightly damaged. So now it's being refurbished so it can stand more seismic activity in the future. It was really cold that day as we were walking around downtown, so I decided to go inside this building to warm up. Once inside, I was greeted by 2 grand pianos and a lady was up there playing. The next stop was the Tabernacle. When you open those massive doors and walk in, you're greeted by the sight of this amazing pipe organ. The missionaries there asked me to guess how many pipes are in it. I took a look and said 43, and they said no, it's more than 11,000 pipes. Next stop was the conference center, which is built to seat 21,000 people. The unique architecture includes rooftop gardens. Up on the third floor, I found a model of the temple so I could see what it really looks like. And in the model, it even showed some oxen, and they told me that the 12 oxen are a symbol of strength. Downtown across from the Temple Square is City Creek Center. It's retail. That's where you're going to find your Apple store and all kinds of high-end vendors. This enclosed section has the City Creek running right through it. In the summer, the roof can be opened.
Okay. My name is Nan Seymour, and I am a poet and a lake-facing activist here on behalf of Water Keeping Vigil at Great Salt Lake.
I'm asking, what's interesting about Salt Lake City?
Well, I have to say Great Salt Lake, because here we are on the receding shoreline of the most essential saline sea in this hemisphere. And it's not only a great place of beauty, but also imperiled heart of an essential ecosystem. So it's interesting both for its beauty and also because it's at a threshold moment, and really a critical moment for not just 10 million birds on the Pacific Flyway, but of course all the life in the whole bioregion.
If you want to go visit the Great Salt Lake, you have to leave the city and drive north to the town of Syracuse, Utah. A long causeway connects to the island. There's a toll booth there, and you have to pay. It costs us $15. If you're camping, it's going to cost a little bit more. There were no bugs on that day. I was pleasantly surprised to see a few buffalo, or the American bison as they're officially called, and as we drove further, we found another herd, and these guys were trying to cross the road, and they were not concerned about cars or people. They look like they own the place, which they really do. Look at these majestic bison. These guys are great. The next stop was the Fielding Gar Ranch. This ranch was in operation for more than 100 years, but now it's shut down. But it was a lot of fun to visit because, you know, I like old farm equipment and I like rusty old trucks, and there was plenty of each. And also they had these restored bunkhouses and the farmhouse, which was really neat to see the old kind of furnishings from 100 years ago. The streets in Salt Lake City are all wide and straight, and the intersections are all at 90-degree angles, unlike the streets of Boston or other New England cities. And the roads have numbers like 900 and 1300, and those are referred to by locals as 9th or 13th. Today I'm at a special spot in Salt Lake City. This is the very location where the Hollywood movie was filmed, The Sandlot. The gentleman that runs this establishment was very involved behind the scenes, and he was feeding burgers to these kids as they were filming the movie. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here. It's really amazing because I've been in Salt Lake City almost a week, and I just found out about this spot, and I was like, wow, I gotta go check that out. So that's what I'm doing here today in Salt Lake City, and this neighborhood is called Glendale.
All right, we're going to tell you about the Sandlot. They used the Babe Ruth baseballs, were actually signed by the Babe himself, and they used them in the movie with the actors. And there was 12 of them that they bought and they used. And at the end of that period, the way I understand it is the producer got one, some of the actors got them, and maybe several of the people that were involved with the lighting and the production of it. And it got down to the last 3 balls, and I can't remember, maybe a neighborhood person got one. The last one was Jay Ingleby got one, and because nobody wanted them. They were just sitting on the counter or something, and then one disappeared, and I don't know where the final one went. So that's the story of the baseballs. The actors, 25th anniversary shirt, a lineup of the way they were In the original dugout is
Thanks a lot for watching my video. There'll be more videos in the future. Where's that airplane?
so he's signed by the actor. Pardon me, signed by the babe himself.
They're threatening the access and the